Hi Aries, welcome back to the Astrology 33 channel. This is your October 2021 tarot reading. Thank you to those of you who liked, viewed, shared, subscribed, and donated to the channel. I appreciate all of that. And for those of you new to the channel, as far as what we have in front of us, it's a Celtic cross spread as always, and also pulled an Oracle card and a Mudra card for you guys. We're actually going to start the reading off by rolling those astrology dice we have in front of us to get an idea of where your focus will be as far as that goes. So, do that now. Okay, so we have Uranus, and that's actually in Taurus, which is your second house of possessions, self-worth, finances. We have 11, which is Aquarius, which is your house of friendships, groups, hopes, and wishes. And we have Sagittarius, which is your ninth house of philosophies, higher learning, foreign affairs. I think Venus is going to move in there around the second week of the month. And of course, we have the South Node there too. And then in Aquarius, speaking of planetary placements, Jupiter is going to start going direct in Aquarius around, I think that's also around the middle of the month. And Saturn is actually going to go direct, I think in the second week. So plenty of activity going on and no signs, but we'll keep those in mind as we go through the main spread. All right, in the main situation position, we have 3 of Wands. So this is actually Aries energy, middle 10 degrees of Aries. So if you have a placement between 10 and 20 degrees of Aries, this might resonate with you a bit more. But this is an energy of waiting for your ships to come in. Usually this represents a cycle after you've done a fair amount of work, and now you're just waiting to reap the rewards of that work that you've done. Part of this could just be part of what's going on with all the planetary energy too. We're going to have that Mercury retrograde in Libra, of course, which is your opposite sign. The sun's going to be there, obviously. Mars is in your opposite sign, and that's your ruler, too. So you just might be in more of that receptive kind of mode right now, where you're like, okay, I've already put in the work. Now I'm going to just take a step back and let the rewards come my way. All right, in the Challenger obstacle position, we have the Strength card, which is the major arcana card for Leo. Queen of Swords, Court card for Libra, and 10 of Wands, Sagittarius energy. So, it could just, what I'm seeing with this, it could just be saying that the challenge is for you guys to hold yourselves back, right? To actually stay in that open and receptive energy for a bit. You know, it might just be a bit of impatience that might come to the surface for you guys. Like, okay, on the one level, you might know that it's time for you to reap the rewards of work you've already done, but you might also get a little bit impatient with the waiting, right? And then find yourselves where you might be taking on too much, right? Or at the very least, more than your fair share in the situation. So I feel like that's saying that that could be the primary challenge for you guys, is to actually stay in that more receptive mode, as opposed to just going out and doing things. And I mean, if nothing else, all of the astrological activity we pointed to is a good reason why. At least for the time being, this might be a good time to just stay a bit more receptive and let others pick up a bit more of the slack for the month. Let's see if anything else comes to mind with this. And if there's an imbalance around a one-to-one relationship, given that Libra represents your opposite sign, it might be saying that, you know, if you have been putting in more than your fair share to work, you might need to have a conversation around that. But keep in mind that there is the Mercury retrograde, so try to be careful with that conversation too. All right, in the foundation position, we have the 4 of Swords. So this is Libra energy here, speaking of which, and usually this represents a period of healing. So you might have been a bit withdrawn lately. Again, could have been a similar theme where, like I said, maybe you guys have just really put in a lot of work, and now you're just taking some time off, resting, relaxing, waiting for rewards to come in. But yeah, this could also be a very introspective energy too. And of course, this is an energy that comes after the 3 of Swords. And we do see the 3 of Swords in the past position for you guys. So, 3 of Swords and also the Knight of Cups, which is Pisces energy. So, regarding what this healing could be around, for some of you, it might have been a situation where maybe you were in a one-to-one relationship that might have separated recently, or maybe even made a love offer to someone and it might have been declined. For some of you, this could be as recent as the Pisces full moon. At the time of recording this, we're basically still under that Pisces full moon energy. But given that this is a reading for October, it would make sense if this showed up in the past position. So for some of you, it could just be as simple as that. Maybe you experienced a disappointment around that Pisces full moon. For others of you, it could just be coming to a realization that maybe you weren't seeing a situation clearly, given that for you guys, Pisces energy is your 12th house, and that could sometimes point to not necessarily seeing a picture too clearly. So some of the ways that that could be playing out. But either way, it looks like you are going into the healing process in October. All right, in the present position, we have the Empress, which I usually view as Taurus energy, but it could also represent Libra too, given that they're both ruled by Venus, and we see the Venus symbol. And we have the Two of Cups, which is Cancer energy. So the way I'm seeing these two cards come out together, to me, the way it's speaking to me is to say the key for you this month is to actually just stay in a more open, receptive mode, right? Like I said, as Aries, you guys might naturally take on that energy of wanting to take the lead in situations and wanting to take action in situations, but especially with your ruler in your opposite sign and all the other stuff we talked about, this could just be saying that for this month anyway, it's a good time to just stay a bit more receptive, and that could actually be the key to drawing in what you're looking for. So naturally, people tend to think of love relationships when they see the Two of Cups, but it could just represent a meeting of the minds too, where two people will have a similar vision, they both bring something to the table, and there's that connection off that level. So, as Aries, if you guys naturally just have that tendency to take the lead, it doesn't really leave room for the others to initiate toward you, right? So it could just be saying that staying in that more receptive mode could find you a more balanced connection in that regard, whether it's with the same person or someone new. On the near future position, we have the Lovers, Gemini energy, Seven of Pentacles, Taurus energy, and the Ace of Wands. So seeing these cards come up together, I feel like this could definitely point to communication for sure, given that Gemini represents your house of communication, and there are natural rulers of that as well. So this could point to some reconciliation energy, I do have to say. I wouldn't always see it that way, but given the spread as a whole, that's what I'm seeing, where we do see the angel figure in the background with the two people, right? So it's almost like things are being worked out behind the scenes in that regard. So it could just be as simple as having a retrograde in your opposite sign might be bringing the opportunity for a reconciliation with you and that person from your past. I feel like this is probably a situation where there's been quite a bit of history, given that we see the Seven of Pentacles, but usually to me that represents a fair amount of investment has been put into the connection, whether it be time, energy, actual physical resources, you name it. And then with the Ace of Wands there, it looks like it's saying that there's at the very least that opportunity to have a fresh start. Now with the aces, we always see the hand coming out of the cloud, which represents an idea, right? So there would still need to be action taken toward it, but at the very least, these cards coming out looks like there's going to be that opportunity, if you're so inclined. All right, the position of your influence in a situation, we have the Two of Swords. So for some of you, it could be as simple as saying that that opportunity does come around, and this could be you guys in that mode of trying to decide if you do want to pursue the reconciliation or not, move forward with the connection or not. And what always stands out to me with the artwork in this card is we see that the person has their back turned to the water and also the moon. So two symbols that point to emotions for me. And then, of course, they also have their hands crossed over their heart and the blindfold. So a lot of you could be trying to make the decision strictly based off of logic. But yeah, more than anything, it could just be saying with all the energy that we talked about in your opposite sign, you might just feel inclined to think about things from a different perspective and try to, see things from the perspective of another before taking any action. So that could be how it's playing out for you guys too. All right. In the environment position, we have the Five of Pentacles in reverse. So this is Taurus energy here. Now, with this in reverse, given that what we were talking about in the near future position, this could just be saying that there definitely is that opportunity to come out of the cold with someone, right? We often refer to this card as the being left out in the cold, just because the artwork kind of speaks to that. But I also say when I see this, they are still together, so it reminds me of that wedding vow, the traditional wedding vow in sickness and in health as well. So it could just be saying you guys might have gone through a rough stretch in a connection, and now there's the opportunity to actually mend that situation. Like I said, that would make sense with the Mercury retrograde in the opposite sign too, so not too surprising to see this come up as a possibility for some of you. And maybe you guys were actually still together through the connection, but for example, all right, just a super generic example, maybe you were putting a ton of energy into work, so you didn't have much time for the relationship, right? So it could just be saying that, okay, an overemphasis on the financial side of things might have led to the detriment of the emotional side of the connection, right? So now maybe you've reached that goal, you've completed whatever goal that was, and now there's more time to put toward the connection, but obviously it would take work to repair that too. For others, you could just be saying that maybe they might have been going through something as well, and now because they're out of that cycle, they're actually going to come forward and try to mend the connection too. So that's what I see there. And if this is around finances, just general finances, looks like there could be improvement there as well. So that could represent, again, like I said, this looks like you guys were waiting for some kind of reward for work that was already done. This might be the month where we actually start to see it come in. All right, and the hopes or fears position, we have the Six of Wands. So this is Leo energy, usually represents an energy of victory, recognition. And interestingly enough, here I'm not really picking up on this as being out of a position of ego for you guys. I feel more like, if anything, it's just you guys maybe not even wanting to be celebrated for work that you've done, but just acknowledged, right? I feel like that's where you're at, where you're like, okay, I just want acknowledgement for all the work that I do, not to be celebrated for it or anything like that, but just to have it acknowledged that people do notice that you're out there doing these things, right? So it could just be as simple as that for some of you. See if anything else comes to mind with this. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing really going on in the sign of Leo for you guys this month, so that's primarily what I'm picking up on it as. All right, and in the outcome position, we have the Ten of Cups. So this is Pisces energy here, and obviously it looks like a very bright, vibrant, happy energy, right? So it could represent growth for some of you. So for example, maybe this was a connection where people had some growing to do, because we see the children are dressed very similarly to the adults in the figure, so it could just represent the growth in that regard, because this is the last card in the minor arcana. So it could just represent a growth cycle you've gone through with another person. But either way, it looks like there's a lot of happiness and fulfillment at play for you guys this month. And like I said, it looks like the key would actually be to stay more open and receptive as opposed to pushing the issue this month. And bottom of the deck, we have the Six of Pentacles. So this is another energy that could point to some reconciliation, restoring balance. And like I said, it's natural for an Aries energy to want to be more on the assertive side and, take the lead in a lot of situations. But especially this month, if nothing else, if you really do truly feel like you've done more than your fair share, this is saying that the energies that play this month are supporting you, just kind of taking a step back and let things come your way, right? And let the balance be restored in that regard. And beneath that, we see the Three of Cups too. So pretty celebratory energy there. All right, moving on to your Oracle card, we have Between Worlds. There's the artwork, and the number is 3. All right, interestingly enough, that's also the number of the Empress card. So like I said, you guys are naturally the Emperor, for example, which is more of a masculine energy. This is more of a feminine, receptive energy. So that could be what it is for you guys too. Like maybe it takes you out of your comfort zone to be in the more receptive role, but that's what's being asked of you this month. And then, of course, the 3 there too, like the 3 of Wands. So just something I was noticing there, but yeah, we'll see what it says in the book. Okay. It says transitions, not being quite out of one situation and fully engaged in another, temporary blindness, no man's land. The Oracle's message: between the worlds is where you must let go of the tendency to make assumptions. This is a time when you are unable to see what is ahead. Cultivate curiosity and trust the process of change and growth. You are done learning the lessons of recent experiences. In this place, between what was and what will be, is a state of making and unmaking and making again. What is essential now is to admit not knowing. There is a great freedom and power to be unleashed. A mystery that is not yours to understand weaves the web of life within the divine matrix of consciousness greater than your own thoughts, feelings, beliefs, desires, and decisions. The seeds that were planted in the past begin to take root, but what surfaces will probably not be what you expect. When you are between the worlds, you are invited to see with the curious eyes of a child glimpsing a rainbow for the first time. Do so and you will not be disappointed. So, pretty positive message there, and hopefully that resonated with you. Interestingly enough, when I was talking about the Let go of the tendency to make assumptions. That brought me back to what I was saying with the Pisces energy there. And like I said, maybe around the full moon, you weren't seeing the situation clearly. And then also making, unmaking, and making again. Maybe think of the natural retrograde cycle that we'll be having with Mercury this month and in your opposite sign. So maybe that's pointing to the relationship theme that we were seeing there too, but hopefully that resonated. The relationship message says this is a time to explore the new energy between you and another. It is not a moment for certainty, but rather for discovery and curiosity. You don't yet know if this will last forever, so allow yourself to explore who you are and what is reflected back to you. This relationship is meant to educate you about yourself. What do you need? What do you like or dislike? What values are important to you? You are in a critical phase of your relationship that is not to be dismissed or hurried. So, pretty positive message there too. And one way I could see that playing out, again, going back to what I was saying, where if you guys are usually the ones who are initiating things, right, and maybe you've been doing that, but maybe you realize through that connection, maybe you're with someone who constantly lets you initiate, right? Oh, I'm going to let them take the lead all the time. And then maybe you realize, okay, it'd be nice to have the other person take the lead every now and again too, right? So it could just be one of those situations where it's saying you're learning through that connection what you do need. So hopefully that resonated with you. The prosperity message says, in your work, sometimes you try things that have worked for others, hoping that you too will be successful. When this symbol appears, it reminds you that sometimes the path to your prosperity is a gamble. Win or lose, you can learn much from what comes of your wager. It's a good time to bet on your skills and talents in new and different arenas. Remain curious, and with the right combination of timing and luck, you will stumble upon something golden that will be unlike anything you've known before. So, I mean, I didn't get a huge, this felt like a lot of this was like more of a one-to-one relationship thing, but around finances too. I feel like that's a similar message there as far as, be more open and receptive this month and letting things come your way, but hopefully that resonated with you. And then with the Mudra you guys got this month, this is the Mudra here. It's the Abhaya Hrdaya Mudra, and the keyword for it is rejuvenation. All right, and there's a lot of info on this card, so I'll just hold it up here for a second if you want to pause it to take a screenshot to read what it says there, and then we'll move it up to get the rest in the frame. All right, but under benefits, it says nourishes the heart and lungs, improves digestion, imparts a powerful sense of vitality and calm, can help reduce nightmares and reestablish basic sanity to a troubled mind. Use of this mudra is especially helpful during times of exhaustion, healing from debilitating illness, or regaining strength after surgery. Energetically, it allows heat to descend from the head through the chest down into the belly, thus regulating healthy function of all the internal organs. So if that sounds like a mudra you think would be beneficial for you guys, I'll put the name of it in the description of the video as always. We'll wrap up there, and I'll see you guys next month. All right, bye.